Alright, so Kling 3.0 just got released a few hours ago, and luckily I got the exclusive access of it, and I've been testing it for a while now. So in this video I'm gonna tell you exactly what Kling 3.0 is and what it brings onto the table. Now while I'm talking to you on this one, you might be thinking that okay, this is another hype video on the AI model that just got released, just getting the views out of it. But no, you need to listen to this because this is fundamentally different, and Kling 3.0 is actually better at a lot of things. So in this video we are going to cover everything. So without any further ado, let's start with this. First we are going to talk about the problem with the existing video models that were there. Up until now, what was happening is we write the prompt, we hit the generate, and we hope for the better results. We are not sure like what we will be getting. If we don't get the result, we need to regenerate it. If we don't get the proper character consistency, we need to regenerate it. If we don't get proper sound, or let's say the character blends into different character, we need to regenerate it. And that was there, like we were gambling constantly with the credits and with the generation of prompts, hoping that we hit the jackpot, getting the better results. But you know what the issue is, right? We need to regenerate it, and that was a total waste of time, giving very little control over what we are able to generate. But with Kling 3.0, that has actually changed. Kling 3.0 introduces something the AI video space has been desperately needed: scene-based generation. And I don't mean scene that the AI randomly decides to create. I mean scenes that you decide. Here's how it works. Instead of typing one prompt and hoping for the best, you can now create videos with 2 to 6 seconds. Each scene gets its own description and its own duration, anywhere from 3 to 15 seconds total per video. So you're not just telling AI to create a video, you're telling it to create scene 1, close-up shot of XYZ for this many seconds. You're creating scene 2 for this particular instance and for this many seconds, and you can define it for as many scenes as you want. Like you can define the exact scene you want and the duration that you want it for. This is the first time you can actually plan your video like you are on a film set. You have a short structure, you have pacing, you have intentional transitions and sound effects, everything onto your control. But that's not it. It gets better, and in Kling 3.0 we have frame-based control. So now we can control the start frame and the end frame. Earlier in Kling 2.6 it was not there, but with this model update we are actually having the scene-based control. So you can precisely decide what you need, the frame starting part, and where you want your frame scene to be ended. Now let's talk about what happens inside the scene generations, and this is where Kling 3.0 actually becomes really impressive. First, the physics of it. So Kling 3.0 has generally good physics simulations, gravity, inertia, momentum. It all actually works, and all the things which are happening in there, they have realistic looking physics into it. And the camera movement also works really well in there. Second big thing is character consistency. You can add elements into your scene and they actually stay consistent throughout the entire video. With Kling 3.0, we are able to maintain the identity, proportions and appearance across all the scenes which are being generated here. This is a massive advantage for you now. And then there is audio. Kling 3.0 generates video with or without sound. But here is what's wild. When you do enable the audio, you get very ultra realistic sound effects based on the scene which are happening into your scene. For example, if someone is walking on the ground, you will be hearing exact footstep sound effects at the right moment. This level of detailing brings a lot of realism into the videos that you generate using it. Now after listening to this, what comes to mind is like what exactly Kling 3.0 is good at. And based on what I have seen and what I have observed, here are the points where Kling 3.0 really excels. First is camera movement. It is incredibly good at it. You want to take macro shots, close-up shots, it is phenomenal at it. Second is physics driven scenes. Whenever you need realistic physics, Kling 3.0 gonna do the best work there. Then let's say we want perfect sound effects added into the video. Again, Kling 3.0 nails there. Character consistency also really awesome because of the elements that are being brought into the scene. Now if we are talking about the good parts, then comes the bad part as well, like where Kling 3.0 is not good. So let's say if you want to have very pixel perfect control over the scene, it might not be a good fit for it. If you want to have very realistic phenomenal choreography that we want to do it, Kling might not be able to bring that level of detailed choreography that we want it to do. So those are some of the fields where Kling 3.0 might lack, which we are hoping to get fixed in the upcoming upgrades that we will be having, maybe for example in Kling 5 or 6. And now to wrap this video up, here is the bottom line. Kling 3.0 is not perfect. No model is perfect yet, but what we have is this model is way better than what we were having before. So there are some points where Kling 3.0 excels, but there are some points where it lacks as well. So whenever you are generating, you need to keep this thing in mind that it is not perfect. So we might need to iterate on the generations, and in the near future, we might be having even more control on the generation itself. So with that, this is Kling 3.0. Let me know what you think about in the comments, and subscribe if you want to follow along on the AI exploration with me. I'll see you guys in the next one.